Hey, it's Jennifer Nguyen, and you're listening to the podcast by Matter.
Hi, this is Melissa Hill, and you're listening to Podcast by Mata.
This is Taka Sen, and you're listening to Podcast by Martha.
Hi, this is Melissa Monet, and you're watching to Podcast by Mata.
Hi, this is Callie Klein, and you're listening to the podcast by Modest.
Hey, this is Joe Mata with the Podcast by Mata. Hey, I'm here to tell you about some fabulous products from Bad Dragon. Hey, Bad Dragon sells some of the most dynamic designs, but that's just only the beginning of the story. Every Bad Dragon dildo and masturbator is hand-poured and ships here in the United States, with the highest quality U.S.-made platinum cured body self silicones available. Now, to get more information on this stuff, go to bad-dragon.com. That's BAD-dragon.com, BAD-DRAGON.com. And if you place an order from them, make sure you tell them that the podcast by Mata sent you. Hey, how we doing? It is Monday, December 11th. Hey, I hope you guys all had a fabulous weekend, because I know I sure did. Hey, we've got a fabulous show for you today, and I'm telling you, it's really fabulous. When you're done listening to this show, I do hope you feel like this.
You gotta be kidding me! What? No way! What? I got goosebumps! Ah!
That's right, goosebumps, baby. Hey, we got obviously not goosebumps from me, but definitely from our guest we have on today. We've delved into this area a little bit. I had one guest on a couple months ago, but we're going to dive into it a lot deeper. And I figured might as well get one of the best in the business. We have the villain, Tim Woodman. How we doing?
Howdy, good morning.
How's everything going today?
I'm in one piece. I've had my coffee. I'm making complete sentences. I think I could do this.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, can you let the listeners know, how did you get into the adult industry?
Oh, completely by accident, man. It's funny because people, a lot of guys will say, "How do I get in?" And I'm like, "Well, not like I did, because I just kind of fell in by accident."
Uh-huh.
I had some friends from the real world who happened to be bondage and fetish models, and they just kind of said, "Hey, do you want to help us do this thing?" And I was like, "What happens? What is that?" And they showed me how it worked, and I was like, "This is my home. I belong here."
All right. So you
And
just
I never looked back.
so you just dove into the fetish type scene and
Yeah,
just pretty much been there?
bondage that drew me in, and they showed me how to do it. And I hit Home Depot on the way home and bought 300 feet of rope and started attending every class I could and learning how to tie, and
Okay.
it was fun. So I just kept doing it.
Now, I just seen you posted something about you do classes on this. Can you
I do
explain a
classes
little more?
on all kinds of stuff, but yeah, I teach a monthly class here in Los Angeles, from beginnings to advanced suspensions and stuff on bondage.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so when you're saying that, so you actually when they're hanging in the air like they do in the
Mm-hmm.
movies and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, how has the industry changed for you in the last 20 years?
Oh, wow. Well, technology changes everything, of course. And because when I started, there was an internet, but nobody knew what to do with it yet. This was in
Right.
'95.
Right.
And things were still being sold on VHS tape. We didn't even use DVDs yet.
Yeah.
So it was all through the mail and the restrictions of the mail. And of course, with the internet, that all changed. And a
Right.
couple of companies figured out how to blow things wide open. And so there's a lot more creative freedom than there was,
Mm-hmm.
because you can post things that you didn't used to be able to.
Right. Right.
And the other thing that's happening, and we're watching it happen right now, is the same thing that happened to the record industry and is happening to mainstream movie industry, and adult industry is next, is that the major players are starting to collapse.
Right.
Partly because of the glut of free material, which is what happened to music too. You had Napster or whatever else,
Right.
and it was harder to make the companies couldn't make record sales like they used to.
Right.
And the same thing, of course, happens here. But the artists are still thriving.
Right. Right.
The fans can reach the models directly now, and buy content right from them.
Right.
Just like musicians are still doing great, even though Tower Records and Empire and all those guys are starting to die.
Right.
And honestly, good riddance. I'm a big fan of the performers making the money and not the industrial machine making the money. So that's been the biggest change, and I love it.
All right. It's good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah. And what he's referring to, you go to OnlyFans or the clip
All of that,
stations and
like
all that. Yeah.
any performer can cook up a website, and now OnlyFans is like 1,000 times even easier. I think that's the next thing.
You're right. Yeah.
Because the fans, we call it gonzo and people kind of make fun of it, but they want short, easy clips that they know is supporting the artist themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, people talk about nobody pays for porn anymore. That's obviously not true. I'm still here. I have not lost my house. I make money. I don't make tons of it, but I do make money.
Right.
And there's a great loyalty to supporting your favorite performers. People pay for the porn because they want to.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they pay for it. They just go about it in a different way. Instead of buying it through the major companies now, they're just buying it through the actual performer itself, through their
Right,
OnlyFans
or even like,
whatnot.
any of the clip sites like Clips for Sale or the I Want Empire, all those new platforms are run by the performers for the most part.
Right.
And you can go straight to their store and know that they're making the money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think, don't they have to, they pay like a little small percentage, but
Oh, of course, because they're handling the bandwidth and the file storage and everything. So,
right,
of course,
but,
they take their share. But,
right, but the majority does go to the performer instead of the company now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, all we need to do is just, I mean, to me, you got the government who shut down Napster and all that.
Uh-huh.
And what they need to do is do this away with the free stuff on the porn so they can go back to going to buy the clips and all that.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that because, like, everybody's always complained about that. But again, if you look at radio, people were all like, people won't buy records anymore once there's just songs playing for free on the air.
Right.
But people still bought records.
Yeah, they have to go about it a different way through Apple and all that other stuff.
Right. And the same thing, like with movies, you can illegally download most movie releases, but people still like to go to the movies for the experience. So it's not like that killed the movie industry either.
Right.
With new technology, we have to evolve and adapt. And I don't think I don't think those tube sites are ever going to get shut down. Honestly, none of my stuff's up there. You can comb the internet.
Right.
I don't know why, but my fans do not repost my work. They keep it, and they honor that.
That's good. That is good.
I don't contribute to those tube sites. I have like little 20-second samplers on my own site, and that's it.
Right. And where can they find your sites at?
My main portal is just provillain.com, and you can find all of my stuff from there. Problem is nobody knows how to spell anymore. Villain is not spelled I-A-N. Villain is not a word.
Okay, all right.
I don't know why people can't do that. They just type the I too fast. But
yeah.
If you spell villain correctly, pro-villain, like professional bad guy, that's my main website, and you can find links to where I sell everything from there.
All right. Okay, great. Now, for the novice listener who's listening in, can you let them know what BDSM stands for?
BDSM is an acronym, and we watched this evolve in real time. I remember I was there. People used to talk about S&M, and they were talking about sadism and masochism, the people that enjoy inflicting or receiving, let's call it extreme sensation, because I don't like to say pain, because that's a very subjective term. What hurts a football player, what hurts me, a football player wouldn't notice, and some things that I can take without flinching, other people can't stand. So.
Right.
But we used to say S&M, and then people were like, you shouldn't say and. It's kind of the same thing. It's SM. And we're like, okay, fine, if you want, SM. And then other people were like, well, what about bondage and domination that doesn't necessarily have pain in it? We're like, okay, B and D. They're like, well, what if they're connected? And what about dominance and submission? We're like, okay, D and S. And then we're like, fuck it, we're just going to make one umbrella term. We'll call it BDSM, and it stands for bondage and domination, dominance and submission, and sadism and masochism all kind of thrown together to be the umbrella kink term. So now it just means kinky sex or kinky stuff.
Okay. Now, what would you say would be the difference in like the mainstream adult industry as compared to the BDSM fan-wise or in movies in general?
The thing that I'm noticing right now is there's less and less difference. Kink has gone mainstream to a large degree. And I think people are not as scared of it, and it's not as in the shadows as it used to be, which is, I think, of course, a good thing, even if it kind of arguably waters down the content to some extent. I do think there's a gratitude in the fans of BDSM material that is perhaps greater than the gratitude you sometimes see in the fans of mainstream adult material, because there's kind of a sense of, well, it's tits and I'm jacking off to it, but there's nothing weird about it, and there's nothing that the fans like. I don't know how to say it, except that, like, if you're into something weird and you find it, you're so grateful to know that you're not alone.
Right.
You're so glad to know there's other weird people like me. Even if it's not, I don't think any of it's weird anymore, but that's just my perspective.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking for something real specific and you're like, what's wrong with me that I like this? And then you find it, you're so grateful that it exists and that there's others like you. And I think if you just go someplace where there's girls in bikinis and tits and blowjobs, that's great, but you don't feel the loyalty, I think, in mainstream because it's so commonplace.
Okay.
That's maybe just my perspective, though.
Okay. All right. Now, with you being in the BDSM industry, what famous porn stars have you had the privilege of tying up?
Oh, dude, it's been 20 years. There's been quite a few, and I've been very, very lucky. I noticed you interviewed Heather Vahn. I had the honor of working with her a couple of times.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She's an amazing woman. I was so honored to get to work with her. I've worked with Lexi Bell and Chanel Preston and Jessica James, who I'm still the only person that's ever tied her up on camera, and I'm really grateful to get to be able to say that.
Wow.
Asa Akira, like a whole bunch of people. I've just been really, really lucky.
Damn, that's a pretty famous list there.
Well, partly I have a really good reputation. I honor people's limits. I was trained in the BDSM community, and we're so heavy on consent and clear communication that I never take that shit for granted. I always tell them exactly what's going to happen, and I always make sure they're not in any real distress or discomfort. So I have a good reputation.
Right.
And partly it's just good geography. I live where they live.
Yeah.
So I have access to those performers.
Okay.
And then it's partly that I have really great customers who will pay extra because they want to see that girl.
Right.
And they know that I can get her, so they've hired me to hire her.
Okay. All right.
So
now,
a lot of good fortune.
During your 20 plus years, have you ever had to stop because someone used their safe word? And can you explain to the listeners who don't know what a safe word is?
Safe word is because, and this is a funny time to bring it up in our current political climate, but no doesn't always mean no when you're doing the kinky stuff.
Right.
Sometimes no means harder, please. We play in a lot of fantasy where there's an element of force or the slave or whatever else that sometimes the fantasy is that they can't say no, or they're going to say no and won't stop it. Right. So a safe word is a word that means no for real. So that if it's part of the script or the fantasy that the girl could be being, whipped by the slave master or whatever, and she's crying and screaming no, he's supposed to ignore that on the script. But if she calls some other safe word, and we usually just use like stoplight signals. Mm-hmm. If she says red, for example, that means stop for real. That's like the director saying cut, and we check in to make sure everything's okay. Or sometimes she'll say yellow, which means, my foot just fell asleep, we got to fix that. It doesn't mean end the scene, it just means pause for a second so we can fix something. Mm-hmm. Those are kind of standard safe words, but really any word that you both agree on that is not a word you'd normally say during the scene, like if she just blurts out aardvark or whatever.
Right.
It's a substitute to end the scene.
Okay.
And I've never, I don't think I ever have had somebody call a safe word on during a shoot. Except the occasional, like a yellow style pause. My wrist fell asleep. Can you fix my bondage so my fingers can move? Okay. Or occasionally somebody's like, "That's a harder whipping than I can take. Can you tone it down?" And I'll tone it down.
There you go. That's a good resume to have, to know that you've never really had to use a safe word. So
yeah, well, a responsible top, and that's the person that's doing the thing, is the person that's receiving the thing. They're the bottom.
Right.
A responsible top is constantly checking in for visual cues, listening for the tone of a person's voice, because, we're acting, and you can kind of tell fantasy distress from real distress.
Right.
So you look for cues that, I better ease off. Right. And especially things like throwing a whip. I've just learned through years of practice to make a whip land really loud and not really hard. Okay. So some of the more severe beatings you see me giving somebody are not all that severe at all. I've just learned to throw it like a stuntman so that it has a dramatic effect, but the model's not in any great discomfort.
Okay.
So she'll work with me again.
Oh, yeah. definitely, for sure.
Now, there's some exceptions, like Amber Rain, rest in peace, was an amazing young lady, and I could literally come off my feet and hit her as hard as I possibly could with my heaviest whip.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment the camera stopped, she turned around and looked at me like, you can hit me harder if you want. I'm like, no, I literally can't hit you any harder than that. So sometimes I get to deliver a real beating, and that's fun. But
okay.
Even then, you're checking in to make sure that your partner is safe.
Okay. Now, you being in that type of lifestyle, do you practice that in your personal life as well, or?
Oh, very much so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm into the kinky weird stuff all the time.
All right. Okay. That's good to know. Now,
it's funny though, because Tim Woodman that's like a performer name. That's a guy I play on camera, and the guy I am in real life is also twisted and weird, but in different ways.
Okay.
Like some of the stuff I do on camera is stuff that my fans have come to grow and to expect, and that's what they like, or what they hired me to do.
Mm-hmm. So
he has a persona all his own. And real me, although there's a lot of crossovers, and I'm entirely him, he's not entirely me,
Right.
The other way around.
Okay.
So I have personal tastes that don't 100% line up with my professional tastes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But everything I do on camera is stuff that I enjoy.
Okay. Now, if there was anybody that you could work with from the adult industry from the past that you could tie up or whatnot, who would it be and why?
Does it have to be adult industry? Because I want Marilyn Monroe.
Well, I mean, either or. I mean,
or
Betty
pick both.
Page. Okay.
I know that's not very creative, but I want to. Oh God, if I could go back in time and tie up Marilyn Monroe and Betty Page, that would be a villain's dream.
Okay. All right.
But as people that are in the past from the adult industry, there's a couple that I missed the opportunity because I was, we were in different times or whatever. But again, I've been really, really lucky. I've got to work with most of the people I wanted to.
Okay.
And there's constantly somebody coming around the corner. I'm like, wow, she seems really impressive. I want to get to work with her.
Okay. Because the two I would think of that I think would be a good mix for you. One is my all-time favorite, Vaness Del Rio.
Oh, geez, yeah.
And then she is now, this person, she's now, right now, Luna Star.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware of Luna Star. We're kind of flirting online a little bit, and if one or the other of us gets enough money, I'm really hoping to get to work with her. But
all right, yeah, because those two are both kind of real intense when they do their scenes, and yeah. I think that would be a good mix. And
of course, yeah,
that would be
that's what you look for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I kind of got my fingers crossed. If Luna, if you're listening, let's work this out. I'd love to work with you.
All right, there you go.
It's funny though. There's an impression with male talent that we're all producers and we're all rich.
Okay.
Like every time I go to an industry party, they're like, "Who are you going to hire next?" Or girls will come up, "I'd love to work for you," and I'm like, I don't have any money. I barely pay my bills.
Yeah.
I mean, if I didn't have a mortgage and other responsibilities, I could put a little more money into hiring who I want. But seriously, if I have a really good year, I've saved up enough to like hire a girl out of pocket twice.
Okay.
Everything else is because a customer did it, which
right.
means he gets to choose the talent.
Right.
Or it's a content trade where some other performer and I are like, let's get together and shoot, and we'll both keep the content.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not a producer. I self-produce like a lot of us do. But when girls come up to me, it's like, I love your work. I want to work for you. I'm like, I don't have any money, and then they just turn around and walk away. It's like, oh, you don't love my work. That's just a thing you say.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It can get a little frustrating.
Now,
if you really love my work, let's work together. But don't, I'm just talent like you. I don't have a budget.
Yeah, exactly. Now, fans out there, I mean, if there's someone you want to see Tim with, like he said, put up the cash, or I don't know. Maybe they can do a GoFundMe or something to set it up, or I don't know.
We kind of do exactly that. There's a link on my page. It says custom videos. And if you go there, it spells out, you get to become like the executive producer if you have that kind of cash, which
right.
not everyone does.
Right.
And I just put all the expenses of the shoot up there so you could see. This is how much the average model costs based on content and, of course, her particular popularity or the price she can command. But on average, she costs this much.
Okay.
Here's how much I cost because I don't work for free. Here's how much the cameraman costs. Here's my location fees. Here's editing and post-production. if you have enough money to put up for all of that, you get to write the script and choose the girl and choose the outfit, and I'll produce your video for you.
Okay. Now
they get the first copy, and then I get to resell it on Clips for Sale for like $1 a minute, which again keeps me in business, but just barely.
Exactly.
But they get, Burger King style. They get to have it their way.
Right. Now, again, where can they go? 'Cause I don't want to ask, what's the cost when they can just do, that we get them to go to your site to check it out.
Yeah, provillain.com, provillain.com, and then there's a button right at the top that says click here for custom videos.
All right.
And all of that information's there. You can get a price quote and figure it out.
Okay, great. Hey, now
I do pretty good money in that.
All right, that's good. Now, hey, you've had the opportunity to play two of the biggest movie icons out there, being Darth Vader and Freddy Krueger. How was it to play those guys?
You did your homework, man. Yeah, I got to. I wasn't exactly Darth Vader, but I did a lightsaber battle with Casey Poteet, aka Diana Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we wanted to. That was the trade shoot. She was like, "That sounds fun. Let's do it." And I brought some lightsabers, and we kind of choreographed a thing. And that was a hoot. It was just a blast to get to work with her. She's such a good sport, and we had so much fun with it. So that was a lot of fun. But Freddy Krueger was like a villain's goal. That was a bucket list moment for me. And the first time a customer hired me to do it,
Mm-hmm.
a couple other times I still had the costume, so I either put the money together or it was a trade shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Playing Freddy was awesome because that's I grew up on those movies.
Right. All right.
And he's just always had a certain panache all his own. Of course, I play him without the burns and with my long hair down because it's just there's only so much money for makeup.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But he's sexy. There's no denying. Freddy Krueger was sexy in his own way, and a lot of girls that I've worked with are like, "You want to do Freddy, really?" And they were all excited. That was a lot of fun for me. That was a definite milestone.
Now, I this next question here, I know you get it quite a bit, or you get told this quite a bit. Now, if you had $1 for every time someone said you look like Kenny G, how rich would you be?
I'd be as rich as Kenny G at that point. It's funny. I guess people say that less because Kenny G's kind of our generation, and kids today are like, Kenny who? Who's that?
Exactly. Jeez. Now, have you been able to stay safe down there in the LA with the wildfires going on and smoke and all that?
Oh, thanks for asking. Yeah, this year was pretty rough I don't remember the winds lasting this long before. I've been an LA native my whole life, and we get these winds every year in spring and fall.
Yeah.
But they don't usually last a whole week, and these fires were pretty devastating. We were safe where I live, but we were surrounded by it. So like the one that hit Sylmar, that smoke went right into my house.
Oh wow.
And it just stunk. Everything smelled like burning the world on fire.
Yeah. My up here, my best friend, we had pretty big fires up here, and my best friend, he lost his house. He lost 3 of his classic cars. It's been pretty bad all over.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it is. Now, what's the weirdest porn set you think you've ever worked on?
Well, weird is such a relative term.
Or
it's a hard question to answer.
Or different, or not.
I mean, for me, what's weird is when there's not ropes or knives or guns involved.
Okay.
Because, I don't usually, but people mostly hire me for my ability with ropes and knives and whips and the kinky stuff.
Right.
But one customer hired me, he wanted me to do, like a blackmail fantasy. So there was still like a force-ish, rapey overtone to it.
Right.
But it was just like reluctant sex. It was still regular old sex as far as the camera was concerned. And I'm like, I'm out of my comfort zone here. What do I do with my other hand if there's no knife in it? Okay. So what's normal to most people was weird to me because I don't get hired for that. I can do that. It's just not really what people come to me for.
Yeah.
That being said, I've shot in caves, of course, classrooms and hospital-looking rooms and all the kind of like standard fantasy sets.
Right.
Out in the forest. We had a great time shooting up in Angeles Crest one time out in the woods. I was shooting a nightmare sequence. This girl's in like the long white nightgown running through the woods, and I'm like walking and still catching up with her somehow,
Yeah.
Straight out of like a Friday the 13th playbook. That was fun for sure.
That might be another one you could play, Jason.
Yeah, I never have. I never played Jason. I have machetes and jumpsuits and stuff, but as soon as somebody hires me, I'll go there.
There you go. Now, What has been the? Have you ever been involved in any like super weird niche porn type scenes?
I've had to wear a clown suit. That was not my favorite thing ever. I didn't dig the clown thing at all.
No.
But I did, it's a paycheck. I did it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
I've done things. Yeah, I've done a lot of weird stuff. Sometimes just holding the camera because I'm a trustworthy person. So a model's like, I gotta shoot this thing and it's weird. Will you come with me?
there you go.
So yeah, I shot some enema stuff, which is honestly not my favorite thing either. But no offense, if that's your thing, that's just okay. I'll hold the camera for you. It's
Right.
like it was funny because we were all joking. It was with a friend of mine who I'm not going to name because we didn't release that footage.
Uh huh.
But she's like, we all have dogs. We've all seen poop. It's not a big deal. So we just shot it, and it's like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
This is weird, but whatever.
Yeah, because I've asked some of the female talent, when they're on cam, what's the craziest thing that that they've done, and some of the answers is like, this one guy, I guess he wanted the model to take a poop and then mail it to him for like 10 grand, and she's like, no, ain't happening.
I have a friend who's now retired from the industry who also did private sessions and was kind of the go-to girl for a long time for guys that wanted to get pooped on. Like,
wow.
they'd take her out to dinner and feed her a really great meal so they know exactly, what was going into it.
Right.
And then go back to a hotel room in the bathtub or whatever. She'd poop right on them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And again, I don't judge about anything anymore.
Right.
It's all like whatever you're into. I'm really glad you found a way to do it safely.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if that's what they're into and it makes them happy, then it's really no one else's business.
If you grow up in the BDSM community, I didn't grow up literally, but my adult formation into this industry, I grew up within the BDSM community.
Right.
It's all about consent.
Yeah.
About communication and consent. Making sure that everybody involved knows what's going to happen. They're all okay with what's going to happen. And as long as those conditions are in place, I really don't care about the specifics. You can do whatever you're both willing to do.
Right. Right. Okay. Sounds good. Now, is there anything you'd like to say to your fans who are listening?
A huge thank you, an enormously huge thank you. I've been blown away over the years by the nice things you've written to me. I don't know if you saw my post from earlier this morning. Somebody attended one of my fantasy roleplay classes, and they wrote me this glowing review and a private message.
Yeah, I've seen that.
About how wonderful it was. And I was like, thank you. I mean, that makes your year when somebody says something that nice.
Definitely. I mean,
I've had fan mail from young ladies, not like young ladies, but like college-age girls who were like, you made me feel okay about my sexuality. Like, I'd had all these dark fantasies, and then I found your website, and you were exactly what I was looking for, and I just want to thank you. And I'm like, how do you even respond to that? Your welcome seems so shallow. I'm blown away that I was able to help somebody feel good about themselves like that. So thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart, not for the money, although I'd love to stay in business, but for the nice things you said. It makes it feels so good. So thank you to every single fan who's listening.
Yeah, definitely. It makes you feel like you're accomplishing something that someone out there is learning or feels better about themselves because of something that you did or put out there.
Yeah, and I got into this for much more shallow reasons. I was just like, well, this is fun. I think I'll do it. And it was an artistic outlet, and I really enjoy it. But when people started saying things like that to me, I was just, oh my God, it's overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm so happy to have been able to be a positive influence in people's lives while doing my creepy, evil job.
All right. Yeah, I mean, because when I just started out, I mean, I was a nobody show. I'm picking up steam a little bit, but my second show, I was able to get Melissa Hill on.
Oh, Melissa, we go back a ways, me and her.
And I was just like, wow, I just scored a Hall of Famer on my second show. What the fuck? and talk about nervous. Oh, I was just shaking and everything, but she talked to me for like 45 minutes, got me calm and everything, and then she goes, let's do the show.
That's cool. Yeah, she's we've been friends a long time.
All right. Now, in closing, where can the fans find you on social media if they want to follow you?
Oh, I'm on Twitter because if you're in porn, you kind of have to be. And it's actually, I very much enjoy the brainlessness of Twitter some days.
Oh, yeah.
And again, it's @ProVillain there. Just spell it right and you'll find me pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Tumblr. I post a lot of free samples and random thoughts on Tumblr. And again, it's a Pro Villain. And then if you're on FetLife, you can definitely find me there too.
Okay.
That's where I promote my classes and stuff the most. So like if I'm teaching a bondage class or any other kind of class, you'll find that info on my FetLife handle.
Okay. Now,
which is also Pro Villain. I try to keep it simple, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Now, before we close this out, the other guest I had on here, she's into the fetish world. Not, I was wondering if you have ever had a chance to work with her or know who she is. Lucy Liu?
Lucy Liu, I have not.
Okay,
I know who that is.
Yeah, she's out of Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware of her. But yeah, I don't get to the East Coast that much, but I know who she is, sure.
Okay, all right. Yeah, maybe I can talk to her and maybe you guys can work out something. And
I would be honored, of course. And, you know, Lucy, if you're listening, if you're at AVN, look me up. Maybe we can at least have a drink together.
There you go. Yeah, I think she will be out there. As a matter of fact, I think she had mentioned something about going out there. So.
Well, you too, dude. If you see me, walk right up. I'd love to shake your hand.
All right, sounds good. Definitely, for sure. All right, guys. Hey, man, that's our show. So, hope you enjoyed it. Please welcome. Please welcome. I'm having a brain fart there. So, in closing, man, hey, I want to thank you guys for listening. And again, hey, I want to give a big thanks to our sponsor, Bad Dragon. And remember,
Bad Dragon's your sponsor. That's awesome.
Yeah, we have a $150 giveaway going on. They gave me $150 worth of product to give away to a lucky fan, and all they've got to do is follow me on Twitter, follow my YouTube channel, and then
that's hella worth it. Bad Dragon's great products.
And then follow Bad Dragon on Twitter, and they're in. So
bitchin'.
Yeah, they gave me their most expensive masturbator product, the cleaning solution, the lubes, and bunch of stuff, man. It's a fabulous package. I opened it up thinking it was just going to be one thing, and I opened up and I was like, damn, this thing weighs like 10 pounds. So I opened it up and there's like all this Bad Dragon stuff in there, and I'm going, holy shit, this is going to be
really cool, man.
It's going to be a fabulous giveaway. So
if you guys, to whatever fan wins that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm looking forward to drawing this and getting a lucky winner and get that stuff out to them hopefully before Christmas.
Hey, listen, thanks very much for having me on your show, man. I had a really good time.
All right, thanks. Hey, thank you again for coming on, man. We'll see you next time.
Take care.
Thanks. All right, everyone. Hey, that was the villain, Tim Woodman. Hey, guys, again, hey, I want to thank you guys for listening. You guys are always supporting me, man. I do appreciate it. You know, I've always said, you know, the show's about you. It ain't about me. It's about you guys. You know, and I try to put out the content that you guys want to hear. I try to get on the guests that you guys want to see. So this show's definitely for you and only you. Hey, I truly support you guys, and I want to thank you guys for supporting me as well. So tune in to our next show. And remember, this will be on YouTube here in a little bit. You guys already know because you'll be listening. So again, I want to thank you guys for listening. This is the Podcast by Mata. You can follow us on Twitter, Podcast by Mata. And remember to check out our sponsor, Bad Dragon. BAD-DRAGON, Dragon, yeah. Brain fart there. BadDragon.com. Make sure you check them out, and make sure you put that hyphen in between the Bad and Dragon, and make sure you check them out. And like I said, if you do buy from them, let them know the Podcast by Mata sent you. Hey guys, man, thanks for listening.